And if you think I'm here to play around with y'all, god damn it, I'm not.
That's my family, dude!
Okolok. Okoloke. Okolok. Okologo.
Great.
A punch thrown by Razor Ruddock knocked out Bone Crusher Smith for 7 minutes. Mike Tyson couldn't even knock Smith down. Another punch laid out Michael Dokes for 12 minutes. Dokes may never fight again. A lot of fighters won't get in the ring with Ruddock. But then, who in their right mind would? Tyson versus Ruddock. Live from the Mirage, March 18th. See it on pay-per-view cable TV.
Liquid bleach. Brightly colored clothes.
Fill it, splatter it, it doesn't matter, it's Liquid Clorox 2. Keeps colors pretty and white bright too. Liquid Clorox 2.
Liquid Clorox 2. Non-chlorine bleach brings colors back to life. Whitens whites too. Keeps your wash looking newer longer.
Liquid Clorox 2. Liquid Clorox 2.
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do. And people are starting to notice.
What up, shit lips? Welcome to the special birthday edition of the BDC show. Today, I turned 46 years old. Personally, I am not much into celebrating my birthday. Being married for almost 20 years will do that to you. Besides, it stops being fun when they stop giving you toys. Not that it really matters anyway. We are celebrating my 46th revolution around the sun out here on the road. It has been rainy all week, which I don't really mind. I would prefer to keep my slippers on, but the rain forces me to put on my boots and look like a professional. As you might have noticed, I have been spending most of the last few weeks south of the Mason-Dixon line. The people are nice for the most part. But I have this unreasonable fear of small-town sheriffs and their abuses of power. I haven't personally experienced this, but it happens. It's a tale as old as time. There are numerous movies where the town sheriff is actually the biggest villain. Look at First Blood with Sylvester Stallone. When I was a kid, I thought his name was pronounced Slyvester. As in Slyvester, you a jive turkey. You know what I'm saying? This footage you are looking at right now was filmed in the parking lot of a 1-9 truck stop on the Virginia-North Carolina border. It was a full-on thunderstorm with wind, lightning, the whole she-bang-a-bang. It was lit. The best sleep I've gotten in a while. I opened up my little side window so I could get the full ambiance. The window opens in such a way that the rainwater can't come in. The rain would have to come up from underneath. It's crazy though how the weather has gone from hot and muggy to needing a hoodie. There have been a couple times this week where I have woke up in the middle of the night to put on an extra pair of socks and my hooded sweatshirt. I am definitely going to need a couple more blankets this winter. I have that idiotic idle smart technology, so I can't leave the engine running. I mean, I could, but I would have to sit in the driver's seat and depress the brake pedal when it threatens to shut down after idling for 5 minutes. But that's just part of the job. You gotta toughen up, toughen up, toughen the fuck up. This job ain't for pussies, you know? I think about the old-timers who did this job without all this technology at their disposal. They didn't have refrigerators, microwaves, or an APU. Not only that, those dudes used paper maps like they were on the Oregon Trail or some shit. They must have flipped a lot of U-turns. I have a full-on GPS with up-to-the-minute traffic updates and turn-by-turn accuracy, and I've still driven right past my destination. I feel like I got into this job at just the right time. I can't imagine doing this job without an iPhone. How did they contact dispatch? The ELD gets a lot of hate, but I like it. We had to fill out those paper logs in school, and it was a total pain in the ass. You need a ruler just to make it look neat. I haven't used a pencil since like the 2nd grade. Or a ruler either, for that matter. Ain't nobody got time for that. One thing about being down here in the South is that there are a lot of low bridges. I thought Chicago and New York had a lot of low bridges, but holy shit. These are sneaky low bridges too. You turn a corner and there's a 13-foot 6-inch bridge, but the GPS assures you that you'll make it. I mean, I trust the GPS for the most part, but I don't take it at its word. It's a soulless machine like the Terminator that doesn't care if I live or die. It hasn't steered me wrong yet, but I feel like it is just luring me into a false sense of security by trusting it blindly. I have it set up to avoid restricted truck routes and low bridges, but I was able to make a quick little supercut of me going under a trio of low bridges here in North Carolina. Some of you eagle-eyed drivers out there might even be able to identify where they are. So, without further ado, I present to you a short little bit called Low Bridges, because I couldn't come up with a wittier title. Roll that beautiful bridge footage. Low bridges everywhere down here in the Trader States. But here we got some footage from West Virginia, which didn't want to become a Trader State so bad, they broke away from regular Virginia and started doing their own thing. It's also one of my favorite states in general. There is a really awesome service area in Beckley. It looks super futuristic and shit. Not something you'd expect to find here. You think West Virginia, you probably think like a dingy factory with smokestacks pouring pollution out of them. But this place is nice. It has a Starbucks, a Wendy's, and its own little gift shop inside. I stopped in there and took a dump, making room for a Baconator and a pumpkin spice latte. Then I was back on the road again. I had passed that place several times but had never gone in. I'm glad I did. I was at a Pilot in Kentucky getting gas, and some homeless dude came up and knocked on my door. I rolled down the window just a crack, and he was like, "Hey man, do you think you can help me out with getting some food?" I had an extra apple, and I tried to hand it to him. He shakes his head and held both of his hands up and was like, "Oh, you know what, man? My doctor said I gotta stay away from fruit." I was like, "Okay," and rolled my window back up. Like what? What doctor would tell someone to avoid fruit? Maybe avoid malt liquor and meth, my dude. That Pilot truck stop was full of excitement. I was taking my lunch break in the fuel lane and only departed when I saw someone pull in behind me. As I'm getting ready to pull off, I heard this crazy loud crash and some dude totally sheared off one of the diesel pumps. I'm sure it's just Hollywood bullshit, but I totally anticipated an imminent explosion, so I skinned out. I didn't hear anything about it in the news, so I guess everything turned out okay. I wonder how much the trucker's company was going to have to pay to replace that. Every time I drive through a tunnel, I start humming that song from Super Mario Bros. When you're underground. You know the one. It's the second level in the original game. It has a bass line that had no business going that hard, especially when you consider it came out in 1985. There are a few out here, so I find myself singing it quite often. I even went through a tunnel in Arkansas once, which totally caught me off guard. It was seriously one of the last places I'd expect to encounter a tunnel, but hey, whatever. If I can fit through it, I'll go through it. We have already established that I'll go under low bridges and I'll go through tight tunnels as well. Speaking of tight tunnels, there was a bunch of controversy lately with that Karen at the Phillies game that took the baseball from the little kid. More to the point, she screamed at the father until he took the ball from his kid and gave it to her like a little bitch. I would have wrecked her. As soon as she raised her voice to me, I would have spit right in her face and quickly follow it up with a headbutt. Don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating unwarranted violence against women, but I do believe in equal rights and equal lefts. If you want to step to me, you better be prepared to go all the way because I just don't give a fuck. The older I get, the less scary the phrase life in prison is. And yeah, some moron is out there saying, but he had his kids with him. Good, let them watch. They can learn how to deal with people who clearly didn't get slapped in the mouth enough when they were a kid. They think they can bump their gums at anyone without consequences. I don't know, that's just my take on it. I know it's screwed up, but I don't care. Whatever the question is, my answer will always be violence. This is the uncut footage of me going under one of those low bridges. You can see that a JB Hunt truck of equal size to me actually came through there, so I knew I'd be able to make it. I had to cut and doctor the footage to make it look more dramatic than it really was. You understand, right? But I don't believe in fooling my audience, so that's why I'm showing you the uncut, uncensored, and uncooked footage so you really know what was going on. We got full transparency here.
Magazines, you've read it in the newspapers. In fact, perhaps you've even seen the owner's picture. Ralph Williams, the owner of Bayshore Chrysler Plymouth, 345 El Camino Real in the city of San Bruno. You notice the big bald-headed son of a bitch? The man that came to San Francisco to offer them more for the dollar they spend. The man that came to San Francisco to rape each and every citizen in the whole San Francisco Bay Area. You don't believe it? Listen to me. I don't lie. Take a fucking car like this. A 1966 Ford, a Country Squire 9-factor station wagon. Don't worry about the equipment. Imagine all the fun you can have in the back. And while you're doing it, imagine all the money that bald-headed prick Ralph Williams is going to be making on the car he's trying to fuck you out of. Yes, the man that'll take every dime out of the San Francisco Bay Area and spend it on prostitutes, booze, and of course crap tables in the city of Las Vegas. I'm sure you've heard about it. So remember this. If you'd like to get fucked and hooked real hard before you buy a car, come down here. Let Ralph Williams do it. Why not? Why not somebody else? Remember, our address is 345 El Camino Real in the city of San Bruno. But if you come from Marin County, East Bay Area, or San Jose, your money spends just as well as anybody else's. And when this bald-headed son of a bitch gets hold of you, you will spend money. Talking about payments, 5 years payments of $100 a month. You can't get even. So shop before you buy. Bayshore, Chrysler Plymouth.
Now, a lot of you might be wondering why, since today is my birthday, I haven't shown any celebratory footage. Well, you see, this footage is all from the week coming up to my birthday. This video is going to be released to the public at the stroke of midnight on my birthday. But I'll try to quickly add some cake eating at the end, but for the most part, all of the footage will be on next week's episode. Sorry about that. I know the title is kind of misleading. But for now, we are in eastern Pennsylvania just chilling out. I'm actually between the nasty-ass city of Philadelphia and where Bam Margera is from. What's crazy is he lives in a house called Castle Bam, and if you put that into Apple Maps, it actually shows up. You might remember his crazy house from the show Viva La Bam on MTV. Now I'm sure it's where he smokes crack and drinks to oblivion, while trying to convince the general public that he's sober now. I'm sorry, I know that's a shitty thing to say. But I'll never forgive him for costing me the celebrity death pool that we had going on at work a couple years ago. We all put in our picks at the beginning of the year, and I had him on mine since he was a walking train wreck appearing on TMZ regularly. At the end of the year, I missed the jackpot by one. If he had croaked, I would have won the whole thing. Kinda morbid, I know. But we were a bunch of weirdos working in a warehouse, so what else would you expect? Staying on the topic of morbidity, I was actually near Shanksville, Pennsylvania on the 24th anniversary of 9/11. That was the site where Flight 93 crashed, if you remember. If you had told me 24 years ago that I'd be near one of the 9/11 crash sites on the anniversary, I'd say no way. Life is a trip, is it not? One thing to remember about driving a truck is that if you see someone walking around in traffic selling anything, you know you're in the hood. This is on Roosevelt Boulevard in Philadelphia. I don't know how they designed these streets and thought it was a good idea. But after that, I took off and went to a place called King of Prussia. Seriously, that is its name. What even is the King of Prussia? Like Frederick II? I was curious why they would name a suburb of Philly that, so I did a deep dive. It was actually kind of a cool story, but I'm a history nerd, so you might not share my enthusiasm. But basically, there was a tavern and hotel called the King of Prussia Inn back in colonial times. Supposedly, George Washington and a bunch of his officers stopped there to have a drink on their way to Valley Forge, which is just down the road. The inn was actually within walking distance from where I had parked, so I went over there to check it out. That's right, you scalawags, we are going on a field trip. Now, if you don't like history, you're probably saying, it's just a building. But I look at it and say this was a hotbed of espionage activity during the Revolutionary War, as it was situated between American and British lines. Not only that, but the first president of the United States actually stood inside. Isn't that cool? I certainly thought so. If I had more time, I would have gone over to Valley Forge and checked that out. Most historians say that was where the tide of the revolution turned to our favor. That's how I tricked you guys, the old switcheroo. I suck you in with the ha-has, and then I hit you with some education. You can close the tab on this video when it's over and feel satisfied that you actually learned something today. It's not all brain rot and time wasted. So my final assessment is that I wish I had more hands so I could give King of Prussia more thumbs up. Weird name for sure, but steeped in history. You're better off stopping there than seeing the house of some washed-up, drug-addicted skateboarder a couple towns over. So after that, we are moving further west, and it looks like I'm going to be making a run into the New York City suburbs. I really hope I don't have to spend my birthday in that gross shithole. Hopefully I can get to a beautiful part of New England or something. Come on, fate. I mean, I don't ask you for much, but I'm asking you for this one little thing.
When you put sense and nonsense together, what the hell do you got? You got some bullshit going on in your mind. That's everything mushed together like a goddamn jambalaya. Peanut butter and ice cream, guns and butter, ants in your damn pants. It all makes sense because you eat peanut butter and ice cream, you're going to get diarrhea. And you're going to have ants in your pants.
Are they eating the butter?
They eating the shit. What do you think they eating? Ants eat your shit because you don't ate that peanut butter and that damn ice cream.
But do the ants do they crawl in your butthole?
No, they just eat the shit that's coming out your ass. When things don't agree with you, that's what I'm talking about. Now that's sense and that's nonsense together, and they do not agree with each other, and now they have merged and gave your ass diarrhea. We cleansing everything, mind, body, and your spirits.